Caitlin Clark, reportedly offered a whopping $5 million to join the Big Three. That's a men's 3-on-3 league founded by Ice Cube.
We think with a move like this, all boats rise, with the tide. So we think this will put the league in a different stratosphere. Everybody across the board in the league will benefit.
The sports world is in shock after a dramatic live moment involving Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark that has fans and analysts talking non-stop. During a highly publicized segment, ICE Cube, the well-known figure in sports commentary, reportedly abandoned and exposed Angel Reese in favor of supporting Caitlin Clark, leaving the young star completely blindsided. The clip quickly went viral, sparking outrage and debate across social media platforms, with fans calling it one of the most controversial moments in recent women's basketball history. Many are questioning why Reese, who had been a favorite in the conversation, was suddenly sidelined, while Caitlin Clark received the spotlight and praise. The live exposure caught Angel Reese off guard, with reactions showing both confusion and frustration, igniting conversations about loyalty, favoritism, and fairness in sports media coverage. The fallout from the incident has been immediate and widespread. Clips of the live moment have circulated endlessly online, generating thousands of comments, shares, and debates about what actually happened and why ICE Cube made the decision to publicly shift focus. Social media has erupted with reactions from fans, athletes, and sports commentators alike, with some praising Caitlin Clark's performance while others sympathize with Angel Reese for being publicly undermined. Many are calling the move unfair and questioning whether Reese's achievements and contributions were fully recognized, while others argue that live sports commentary is unpredictable and moments like this can happen. Industry insiders say the live exposure has already created ripple effects, with conversations about credibility, favoritism, and professional ethics dominating sports circles. Angel Reese, a rising star, has been thrust into a media storm that goes far beyond her on-court performance. The attention surrounding the incident is not only about individual players but also about broader issues of recognition, bias, and respect within sports commentary. The contrast between Reese being abandoned and Caitlin Clark receiving support has sparked discussions about how media figures influence narratives, shape public perception, and impact athletes' reputations in real time. Fans across social media have been dissecting every second of the live moment, highlighting the visible expressions, reactions, and dialogue that made the exposure so striking. Memes, reaction videos, and commentary threads have exploded, turning the incident into a trending topic and making it one of the most talked-about sports controversies in recent memory. The question on everyone's mind: what led ICE Cube to make such a dramatic shift, and what does it mean for Angel Reese's career trajectory and public image? This live moment has opened the door to conversations that go beyond the game itself, sparking debates about fairness, favoritism, and accountability in sports media. For Angel Reese, the exposure represents both a challenge and an opportunity, a test of resilience under public scrutiny and the chance to reclaim control of the narrative. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's rise in visibility has fans wondering how such split loyalties impact both athletes' careers and public perception. The incident is a reminder that in the world of sports, moments of live media attention can define reputations, fuel controversies, and spark debates that linger long after the final whistle. The controversy surrounding Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark began to unfold live in a way that shocked fans and dominated social media almost instantly. During a widely watched sports segment, ICE Cube, known for his influence and commentary in basketball circles, appeared to pivot dramatically, choosing to highlight Caitlin Clark over Angel Reese in real time. The moment was jarring, as Reese had been a fan favorite and a rising star whose talent and on-court presence had earned her national attention. Suddenly, she was publicly sidelined, and the spotlight shifted entirely to Clark. Reactions from viewers were immediate. Many expressed shock at Reese being abandoned, while others debated whether live commentary inherently carries unpredictability or if this was a deliberate slight. Sources say Reese's visible frustration and confusion during the live segment captured the attention of millions, making it a defining moment in her young career. Inside the stadium and broadcast setting, the tension was palpable. Reese, who had been expecting recognition and support, was confronted with an unexpected public judgment from ICE Cube, leaving her team and fans scrambling to process the situation. The contrast between Reese's reaction and the enthusiastic coverage of Clark created a visual narrative that seemed to amplify the drama. Fans on social media immediately noticed the expressions, body language, and tone of the broadcast, interpreting it as Reese being unfairly exposed or abandoned. Many argued that Reese's achievements and contributions were overlooked, while Clark received praise that seemed disproportionate given the circumstances of the game segment. The optics of the moment, combined with live commentary, created a controversy that quickly transcended the sports world. The incident sparked widespread discussion online, with clips of the moment being shared across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and other platforms. Fans analyzed every second of the segment, pointing out Reese's visible shock, the language used by ICE3, and the way attention shifted toward Clark. Reactions ranged from outrage to support, with some calling the live exposure a blatant case of favoritism, while others argued that media figures have the freedom to direct focus where they see fit. The conversation became about more than a single live broadcast. It evolved into a debate about media ethics, loyalty, and recognition in sports commentary. According to insiders, the rapid spread of clips and commentary magnified the impact of the live moment, turning it into a viral controversy that dominated trending topics for hours. Within Reese's circle, sources indicate that the response was a mixture of frustration, disbelief, and determination. Friends, coaches, and team members reportedly discussed the live incident in detail, evaluating how it could affect her public image and how best to respond without escalating the situation further. Insiders say Reese was determined not to let a single live exposure define her career, understanding that public perception can be fleeting but also highly influential. Discussions focused on balancing resilience with professionalism, how to acknowledge the moment without allowing it to derail her trajectory or undermine the recognition she had earned through years of hard work and dedication. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's prominence during the segment only intensified the debate. Sources suggest that while Clark's talent and performance deserved acknowledgement, the way the spotlight shifted created a sense of imbalance that fueled controversy. Fans and commentators compared both players, dissecting statistics, previous performances, and the fairness of media coverage. Social media threads exploded with opinions, memes, and reaction videos, framing the situation as not just a live commentary mishap but as a larger commentary on how media figures influence narratives and shape public perception. For many, the debate wasn't about the athlete's abilities but about fairness, respect, and visibility. Throughout the day, the story only grew in intensity. Fans revisited the live footage repeatedly, replaying Reese's reactions and ICE3's commentary to interpret the meaning behind each gesture and word. Memes and viral clips proliferated, with some emphasizing Reese's perceived abandonment and others praising Clark's opportunity. The incident became a cultural talking point, highlighting the influence of live sports media on athlete perception and sparking broader discussions about favoritism, professionalism, and the pressures athletes face when under the scrutiny of both fans and media figures simultaneously. Inside Reese's camp, the focus reportedly shifted towards strategic messaging and maintaining composure. While the live exposure could have been a damaging moment, insiders emphasized that Reese was determined to turn it into a demonstration of professionalism and resilience. Discussions included how to address fan questions, social media commentary, and potential media inquiries without appearing defensive or reactive. According to sources, the goal was to maintain authority over her own narrative, reminding the public that while live commentary can be unpredictable, her talent, work ethic, and accomplishments speak for themselves. By the end of the day, it was clear that the live moment had become more than just a broadcast incident. It had evolved into a defining controversy. Fans, commentators, and analysts dissected every angle, while Reese's reaction became symbolic of the challenges athletes face when recognition and support shift unexpectedly. Caitlin Clark's rise in visibility, contrasted with Reese's public exposure, sparked debates that went beyond the game itself, touching on issues of media influence, fairness, and credibility. For Reese, the incident became both a challenge and an opportunity, a test of resilience under pressure and a chance to assert control over her narrative in a moment when public perception threatened to overshadow her accomplishments. Ultimately, the first day after the live segment set the stage for an unfolding saga that would dominate headlines and social media for days to come. Angel Reese had been publicly exposed in a way few athletes expect, but the response, strategy, and composure she demonstrated would play a crucial role in shaping how fans and the industry perceive her moving forward. The incident was a stark reminder that in modern sports, moments of live commentary can define reputations, spark controversies, and create opportunities. And it was clear that Reese was prepared to navigate this high-pressure environment with focus, resilience, and determination. The aftermath of the live incident continued to dominate the narrative on the second day, with Angel Reese's team taking deliberate steps to assess the fallout and prepare for the next phase of public perception management. Sources indicate that Reese spent the morning reviewing clips of the broadcast, analyzing every second of her own reaction as well as ICE3's commentary. The goal, insiders say, was not to dwell on the moment but to understand how it was being interpreted by fans, media, and other stakeholders. Reese reportedly recognized that while the exposure was unexpected, it presented an opportunity to demonstrate composure, resilience, and professionalism, qualities that extend far beyond athletic performance and into public influence and brand management. Inside Reese's camp, the emphasis was on strategic coordination. Coaches, advisors, and close associates reportedly gathered to discuss the implications of the live exposure, both in terms of immediate fan reactions and long-term public perception. Sources suggest that Reese stressed the importance of remaining focused on her career, controlling what she could, and avoiding reactionary moves that could escalate the situation. According to insiders, every social media post, interview, and public statement was planned with precision, ensuring that her responses reflected authority, awareness, and measured professionalism. The team reportedly wanted to balance acknowledgement of the live incident without appearing defensive or allowing it to define her. Meanwhile, social media continued to amplify the story. Clips of Reese's reactions, ICE statements, and highlights of Caitlin Clark's coverage were circulated endlessly across platforms. Fans and commentators debated fairness, visibility, and loyalty, dissecting body language, tone, and context in painstaking detail. According to sources, Reese's team monitored these reactions carefully, identifying which narratives could impact her credibility and which were irrelevant or exaggerated. The emphasis was on controlling perception without feeding into sensationalism, demonstrating that professional handling of controversy can be as important as on-court performance in shaping public opinion. By midday, Reese reportedly began taking proactive steps to reclaim the narrative. Sources indicate that she engaged in a series of controlled communications, including selective interviews, statements to trusted media outlets, and social media posts designed to highlight her achievements, dedication, and resilience. These actions were intended to redirect attention to her career accomplishments rather than the controversial live moment. Insiders say Reese wanted to ensure that her audience understood her perspective and maintained faith in her abilities, while also signaling to ICE, the media, and the broader public that she remained composed and unshaken. The alleged favoritism toward Caitlin Clark during the live segment became a central talking point across sports commentary. Fans and analysts compared the performances of both athletes, scrutinizing stats, highlight reels, and career achievements to debate whether Clark's recognition was warranted or whether Reese had been unfairly sidelined. Sources indicate that Reese's team emphasized the importance of separating performance evaluation from emotional reaction, understanding that public narratives are often shaped by perception rather than fact. By focusing on professionalism and consistency, Reese reportedly aimed to assert authority over her own story, reinforcing her credibility while avoiding unnecessary conflict. Throughout the afternoon, sources report that Reese worked closely with mentors and advisors to prepare for upcoming appearances and interviews. The emphasis was on maintaining composure, addressing questions strategically, and ensuring that every interaction projected confidence and focus. Insiders suggest that Reese viewed the incident as a test of her ability to navigate high-pressure situations where public scrutiny is intense. The guidance she received focused on balancing emotional intelligence with assertiveness, showing that while the live exposure was challenging, it could also be leveraged to demonstrate maturity and leadership in the public eye. By evening, social media chatter had shifted slightly from outrage to analysis, with fans and commentators speculating on what Reese's next moves would be. Sources close to her indicate that she remained composed, focusing on her training, team preparation, and strategic messaging rather than reacting impulsively. Her approach reportedly signaled to fans, critics, and the industry that she was fully aware of the stakes and capable of maintaining control over her narrative. According to insiders, this calm, calculated response enhanced her credibility, showing that even in the face of unexpected public exposure, she could assert authority and professionalism. As the day concluded, Reese's team reportedly reviewed all public engagement and feedback to refine their strategy for the coming days. Sources emphasized that the incident, while challenging, had provided valuable insight into the dynamics of media coverage, public perception, and narrative control. By approaching the situation with discipline, foresight, and strategic communication, Reese reportedly turned what could have been a negative moment into an opportunity to demonstrate resilience, professionalism, and authority. Fans and observers began to see that her handling of the situation went beyond a single live broadcast. It reflected a level of maturity and awareness that could shape her reputation for years to come. By the end of the second day, The story had evolved from a controversial live moment into a broader conversation about media influence, athlete recognition, and personal resilience. Angel Reese had successfully begun reclaiming control of the narrative, showing that her credibility, talent, and professionalism could withstand unexpected public exposure. The incident highlighted a key truth in sports and public life. While live media moments are unpredictable, strategic action, composure, and disciplined communication can transform potential setbacks into demonstrations of strength, shaping reputation and influence far beyond the immediate controversy. As the third day unfolded, Angel Reese continued to navigate the fallout from the highly publicized live segment that had thrust her into a viral controversy. The morning began with her team reviewing clips of the incident, analyzing fan reactions, and tracking the online conversation. According to insiders, Reese was deeply aware of how quickly perception could shift, especially in moments broadcast live to millions of viewers. She reportedly spent significant time discussing the nuances of the exposure with coaches, mentors, and her management team, focusing on maintaining composure, projecting confidence, and reclaiming control over her narrative. While the incident had initially caught her off guard, Reese's awareness of her long-term goals and reputation allowed her to turn what could have been a damaging moment into an opportunity for strategic growth and visibility. Inside Reese's camp, discussions centered on messaging, public appearances, and social media engagement. Sources suggest that every post, comment, or response was carefully planned to reinforce professionalism, authority, and resilience. The team reportedly emphasized that reacting impulsively or allowing emotion to dictate responses could exacerbate the situation, so Reese's focus remained on consistency and calculated action. According to insiders, this approach was not only about damage control but also about positioning Reese as a young athlete capable of handling high-pressure scenarios with maturity and poise, traits that can significantly impact long-term credibility in both sports and public perception. Meanwhile, the social media storm showed no signs of slowing. Fans dissected the live segment endlessly, analyzing Reese's facial expressions, ICE Cube's commentary, and the shift in attention toward Caitlin Clark. Videos, reaction memes, and commentary threads flooded platforms, making the controversy one of the top trending topics of the day. Sources indicate that Reese's team closely monitored these discussions, identifying which narratives posed potential threats to her reputation and which could be strategically ignored. By controlling the response to these narratives, Reese could subtly guide public perception while minimizing the risk of misinterpretation or escalation. This careful management of online conversation underscored her growing sophistication in handling high-profile scrutiny. By midday, Reese reportedly began taking proactive measures to strengthen her public image. Insiders suggest that she engaged in selective interviews, provided insights into her performance and mindset, and highlighted her dedication to the sport. These carefully crafted appearances were designed to redirect attention from the controversy toward her accomplishments and professionalism. According to sources, Reese was determined to demonstrate that a single live broadcast could not define her career or diminish her achievements. The strategy was both reactive and proactive, acknowledging the situation without being consumed by it, and emphasizing her consistency, talent, and resilience. The contrast between Reese and Clark during the live segment continued to fuel debate. Fans and commentators compared performance stats, highlight reels, and public perception, with many noting that while Clark's recognition was valid, Reese's visible exposure created sympathy and support for her among audiences. Sources indicate that Reese's team emphasized this as an opportunity to strengthen her narrative. By highlighting the dedication, effort, and professionalism that led to her achievements, Reese could assert authority in the conversation while remaining above petty disputes. The approach reinforced her credibility as an athlete and a public figure capable of navigating challenges with composure. Throughout the afternoon, Reese reportedly focused on internal alignment with her team. Trusted associates, mentors, and coaches collaborated on security measures, messaging strategy, and potential media interactions. Sources suggest that Reese prioritized coordination to ensure that every move, online, in interviews, and in public appearances, was consistent and strategic. According to insiders, this level of discipline allowed her to maintain credibility and authority even amid intense scrutiny and speculation. By controlling internal dynamics, Reese reportedly reduced the risk of miscommunication or missteps that could be exploited by fans, media, or rivals. As the day progressed, Reese's composure became increasingly visible to fans and the media. Her responses were measured, professional, and focused on the long-term picture rather than immediate reactions. Sources indicate that her ability to remain calm and strategic under pressure reinforced her reputation as a rising star who could handle both athletic and public challenges with poise. By the evening, the online conversation had shifted slightly. While the initial controversy remained a trending topic, more focus was given to Reese's professionalism, performance, and capacity for resilience. The narrative began to shift from outrage to respect, highlighting her ability to turn a viral exposure into an opportunity for credibility building. By nightfall, the third day had solidified Angel Reese's position as a figure capable of navigating high-pressure situations. According to insiders, the incident had evolved from a controversial live segment into a broader lesson in professionalism, resilience, and narrative control. Fans and analysts began acknowledging her poise, strategic thinking, and ability to maintain authority under public scrutiny. Sources suggest that Reese's handling of the day underscored a critical point. In the era of viral media, the way athletes respond to unexpected exposure can define their reputations far more than the exposure itself. By the close of the third day, it was clear that the live incident had become a defining moment in Angel Reese's career. Sources emphasize that her measured approach, careful communication, and strategic management of both the viral controversy, once potentially damaging, had become a platform for Reese to demonstrate professionalism, strategic awareness, and long-term vision. In the fast-paced world of sports media, this day served as proof that reputation is earned not only through performance but also through the ability to navigate scrutiny, maintain composure, and assert control over one's narrative in moments of public pressure. As the fourth day unfolded, Angel Reese's focus sharpened even further, with every move calculated to regain control of the narrative and reinforce her credibility. The morning began with a thorough review of media coverage, social media reactions, and the conversations circulating around the controversial live segment. According to insiders, Reese approached the day with a strategic mindset, analyzing both the immediate impact of the exposure and its long-term implications on her career. The viral nature of the previous days had magnified her visibility, and Reese reportedly recognized that how she responded in the hours and days following would shape public perception for weeks, if not months. She was determined not to allow a single broadcast to define her trajectory. Inside Reese's camp, discussions centered on aligning messaging, strengthening public perception, and coordinating next steps across all platforms. Sources suggest that coaches, advisors, and mentors emphasize the importance of maintaining professionalism while subtly reclaiming authority in the conversation. Every social media post, interview, or public statement was carefully considered for its potential impact, ensuring that Reese's response would project confidence, resilience, and strategic awareness. Insiders report that Reese herself took an active role in these discussions, signaling her understanding of how public narrative and personal branding intersect with athletic performance. Throughout the morning, the online conversation continued to dominate social media. Fans and commentators revisited clips of the live segment, analyzing Reese's expressions, ICE3's commentary, and the attention given to Caitlin Clark. According to insiders, Reese's team monitored these discussions closely, distinguishing between narratives that could harm her reputation and those that were inconsequential or exaggerated. By tracking engagement trends and sentiment, they were able to guide her responses, ensuring that public perception was influenced in a controlled and deliberate way. Reese reportedly understood that in today's digital age, public opinion can shift in minutes, and that controlling the narrative was just as important as her performance on the court. By midday, Reese had begun implementing proactive measures to assert her authority and reshape the story. According to sources, she engaged in targeted interviews and media interactions, emphasizing her dedication, achievements, and professionalism. These appearances were carefully crafted to redirect attention from the viral controversy to her accomplishments and commitment to excellence. Reese's team reportedly emphasized messaging that highlighted her resilience and focus, positioning her as an athlete capable of rising above public scrutiny while continuing to excel in her craft. Insiders stressed that the goal was to turn what initially seemed like a setback into a demonstration of strategic thinking and maturity. The contrast between Reese and Clark during the initial live moment remained a major talking point throughout the day. Fans and analysts debated fairness, visibility, and recognition, comparing career achievements and in-game performances. According to sources, Reese's team saw this as an opportunity to subtly elevate her narrative, highlighting the dedication, work ethic, and professionalism that had earned her acclaim long before the live segment aired. By framing her story in this context, Reese was able to assert authority in the conversation without creating conflict, signaling to fans and the broader public that her credibility remained intact. Throughout the afternoon, internal coordination intensified. Trusted associates and advisors collaborated to refine communication strategy, monitor media coverage, and prepare for any unexpected developments. Sources indicate that Reese emphasized consistency and discipline, making it clear that every public or private interaction should reinforce her professionalism and resilience. By maintaining strict internal alignment, she minimized the risk of miscommunication, leaks, or narrative shifts that could damage her reputation. Insiders report that this level of preparation and foresight allowed Reese to navigate a highly scrutinized environment with confidence and control. As evening approached, Reese began to implement subtle, strategic measures to further stabilize the narrative. Social media posts, media appearances, and fan interactions were timed and crafted to project composure and authority. According to insiders, every move was deliberate, designed to demonstrate that while the live exposure had been unexpected, she was fully capable of handling the situation with poise. By focusing on her strengths, achievements, and resilience, Reese was able to shift public attention from controversy to credibility, reinforcing her position as a rising star in women's basketball. By the end of the fourth day, the impact of the initial live segment had evolved into a broader story about professionalism, resilience, and narrative control. Sources suggest that Reese's disciplined handling of the situation allowed her to reclaim authority and redirect attention to her career and accomplishments. Fans, commentators, and industry insiders began to recognize her ability to navigate public scrutiny with maturity and strategic thinking. The incident, which could have been purely negative, had become an opportunity for Reese to demonstrate leadership, poise, and an understanding of how to manage high-pressure situations. Ultimately, the fourth day reinforced a critical lesson for Angel Reese. In moments of public scrutiny, resilience, strategic thinking, and disciplined communication are just as important as talent and performance. By carefully managing the narrative, maintaining composure, and coordinating with her team, Reese had transformed a viral controversy into a demonstration of strength and authority. Her handling of the day showed that reputation is not only built on success on the court but also on the ability to respond with professionalism, confidence, and strategic foresight under intense public pressure. The stage was set for the final phase, where Reese's next moves would continue to shape her narrative and influence how fans, media, and the industry perceived her. As the fifth day of the unfolding Angel Reese controversy began, the pressure on the young star reached its peak. After 4 days of intense media scrutiny, viral clips, and social media debates, Reese reportedly approached the morning with a renewed sense of focus and determination. According to insiders, she spent the early hours reviewing all coverage, identifying which narratives required a response and which could safely be ignored. The goal, they say, was not to dwell on past exposure but to assert authority over her story and demonstrate that a single live broadcast could not define her career. Reese was determined to turn the controversy into an opportunity to showcase her professionalism, resilience, and ability to navigate high-stakes public situations. Within her inner circle, the atmosphere was tense but focused. Coaches, mentors, and advisors reportedly held multiple meetings to coordinate messaging, plan media interactions, and ensure that every public engagement reinforced Reese's credibility. Sources indicate that Reese herself was actively involved in these discussions, carefully considering the implications of each statement, social media post, or interview. The emphasis was on consistency, discipline, and projecting confidence, even while the controversy continued to dominate online conversations. According to insiders, the goal was to reclaim control of the narrative, redirect attention to her achievements, and demonstrate that she could maintain composure under intense scrutiny. Social media continued to amplify the story, with fans and commentators dissecting every detail from the live broadcast. Reese's reactions, ICE Cube's commentary, and Caitlin Clark's visibility were endlessly analyzed, generating debate over fairness, recognition, and loyalty in sports media. Sources suggest that Reese's team monitored these discussions closely, identifying which narratives could affect her reputation and which could be strategically ignored. By focusing only on the elements that mattered, Reese was able to maintain authority over her public image while avoiding the distractions that often accompany viral moments. According to insiders, this approach allowed her to control perception, demonstrating that strategic thinking and composure could outweigh initial exposure in shaping public opinion. By midday, Reese reportedly began executing proactive measures to reinforce her authority. Interviews, media appearances, and carefully timed social media posts were all designed to highlight her achievements, dedication, and professionalism. Sources indicate that Reese was intentional in framing the conversation around her accomplishments and work ethic, rather than reacting emotionally to the viral moment. The approach was both subtle and strategic, By focusing on her strengths and remaining composed, Reese effectively shifted the narrative from controversy to credibility. Fans began to notice the difference, recognizing her as a figure who could handle high-pressure situations with poise. The contrast between Reese and Clark during the initial live segment remained a talking point throughout the day, but Reese's disciplined handling began to redefine the conversation. Sources report that her team emphasized highlighting her talent, effort, and leadership qualities, framing the situation as an example of resilience rather than a setback. By maintaining professionalism and refusing to engage in public confrontation, Reese was able to assert control over the narrative and subtly reinforce her position in the sports world. According to insiders, this strategy allowed her to demonstrate authority, elevate her public image, and maintain focus on her long-term career goals. Throughout the afternoon, internal coordination remained a priority. Trusted advisors and team members collaborated to ensure that every interaction, whether online, in interviews, or in public appearances, aligned with the broader strategy. Sources indicate that Reese emphasized loyalty, consistency, and discretion, reinforcing that her response to public scrutiny needed to be deliberate and disciplined. By maintaining this internal alignment, she reduced the risk of miscommunication or missteps that could compromise her credibility. Insiders suggest that this level of preparation allowed Reese to navigate the high-pressure environment with confidence and control. As evening approached, Reese's presence and messaging had begun to shift public perception. While the controversy remained a trending topic, more attention was now focused on her professionalism, resilience, and capacity for leadership. Sources indicate that fans, analysts, and industry insiders recognized her ability to manage a challenging situation without succumbing to emotion or distraction. By the close of the day, the narrative had evolved from a viral exposure to a demonstration of maturity and strategic awareness, showing that Reese could turn potential adversity into a platform for credibility building. By nightfall, the fifth day had solidified Angel Reese's position as a rising star capable of navigating both athletic and public pressures with poise. Sources suggest that her strategic communication, disciplined public engagement, and coordinated internal planning had transformed what initially seemed like a damaging exposure into a demonstration of authority and resilience. Fans and commentators began to focus less on the controversy and more on Reese's professionalism, talent, and leadership qualities, recognizing that the way she responded to public scrutiny had become a defining moment in her career. Ultimately, the fifth day demonstrated a critical truth about public perception and professional growth. Angel Reese had been thrust into an intense media storm, faced with unexpected exposure and scrutiny, yet she managed to navigate the situation with composure, discipline, and strategic foresight. Sources indicate that her ability to control the narrative, maintain credibility, and assert authority under pressure not only mitigated potential damage but also enhanced her reputation. The viral controversy had evolved into an opportunity to showcase resilience, professionalism, and strategic awareness, proving that moments of public challenge can become defining moments for those who respond with focus, foresight, and confidence. By the end of the day, Angel Reese's handling of the live incident had transformed from a moment of vulnerability into a demonstration of strength, establishing her as an athlete who could navigate controversy, manage public perception, and maintain authority under pressure. Her strategic approach showed that in sports, as in life, success is measured not only by talent and performance but also by the ability to respond to challenges with poise, intelligence, and deliberate action. The fifth day had cemented her resilience, setting the stage for continued growth and long-term credibility in both her athletic career and public image. The Angel Reese controversy has shown fans and the sports world just how much resilience, professionalism, and strategic thinking matter in high-pressure moments. Being thrust into the spotlight unexpectedly, facing public scrutiny, and navigating viral debates could shake anyone. But Reese's response proved that composure and planning are just as important as talent. Her ability to reclaim control of the narrative, stay disciplined, and maintain focus highlights a level of maturity beyond her years. For athletes, fans, and anyone watching from the outside, this situation serves as a reminder that challenges are opportunities in disguise. How you respond under pressure can define your reputation far more than the incident itself. Angel Reese turned what could have been a setback into a showcase of strength, credibility, and authority. Remember, in any high-stakes scenario, staying calm, thinking strategically, and focusing on what you can control will always give you the edge. Watch, learn, and apply these lessons in your own life.